Welcome back to X-Men Classics. We have now officially entered the Spotlight era for the X-Men. I'm covering two Spotlight books. First of which is Amazing Spider-Man number 92, When Iceman Attacks. Yep. And the comic opens up. Of course, I should note that this issue was written by Sandman Lee. And the art is by Gail Kane, who did succeed John Romita Jr. as the third artist for Amazing Spider-Man. This is before Romita Sr. came back on. I mean, he was on inking after like a few years of being the artist, and of course he came back. Of course, yeah. The comic opens up with Spider-Man taking Gwen Stacy, and of course this guy called Sam Bullock, who was from the previous issue. I know Edgar's probably going to get to this soon. But really, the whole point of this issue is that you see, despite the fact Spider-Man's swinging up with Gwen, you see Iceman making his first appearance since the end of, X-Men 66. Yep. Where he spots Spider-Man, calls a taxi for his girlfriend, well, for his date anyways, and he goes to an alley and changes into Iceman. And he goes out, Spider-Man tried to explain what's going on, and of course, Iceman goes after Spider-Man, and they have a brief fight that lasts for like a page and a quarter. Yeah, page and a quarter. Of course, Sam Bullock's like all about law and order. He wants to hound Spider-Man. And of course, he tries to get. He talks to after Iceman sort of saves Gwen Stacy from Spider-Man. Sam talks to Iceman. Talks to him and so saying his tail. Says, yeah, sure. And his Sambo's like, I'll bring law and order. Yeah, it's all complete bullcrap. And then he goes back to his campaign headquarters, where he gets a call from Jameson. Tells him to. Well, he tells him what's going on. He says he learned something, so he goes straight to Daily Bugle. And of course, Sam comes to the Daily Bugle office, and basically, yeah, Jameson's like, yeah, I'm full of your bullcrap, and he says, yeah, he knows that he knows about the lunatic hate groups who are backing you, and know what you really mean by law and order, and he knows what you think of what you think of. I know what you think of my groups and the plans you got for them. This is Jameson. Anyone tell you talk too much, black man? And of course, Jameson does not like anybody insulting Robinson. I mean, he does occasionally say it, Robinson, but he doesn't like insult him based on his race. He insults him because sometimes ticks him off at times, but he doesn't insult him because of his race. I mean, this is one thing I'm glad Lee does. He does not write. I mean, this is still in the early 70s when there's still some racism. He never, ever depicts Jameson as a racist. Never. And as far as I know, no other writer has ever depicted John Jonah Jameson Jr. as a racist. And because he doesn't like Sam Bullock's bullcrap, he tells him he's switching to Foggy Nelson, which was at the time this was coming out in the Daredevil books, Foggy Nelson was running for DA, which he did win. And he says switching Nelson. So if you're not seeing you switching Nelson, yeah, Sam doesn't like that too much. So yeah. And so Jameson talks to Robbie for a bit, says he's too dangerous. And of course Peter spots, I think it's Bullet leaving, or at least somebody. Actually, no, it's actually Peter spots some two hoods going to Robbie's office, and they just kidnap him. Well, they take him away. Of course, so everyone goes out, rushes, and switches the costume. Iceman Swords attacks him again. And of course, they fight for a bit. They fight for a few pages. And Spider finds the warehouse where they're holding up Robinson. And of course, Iceman sees what's really going on. And of course, Bullet's goon's about to kill Robbie Robinson. When? Boom! Spider-Man Iceman attack. They decide to team up out of the blue. And they team up and they take out Bullet's goons. And they free Robinson. Of course, they capture all of his goons by quick succession. Yeah, and Bullet's like, yeah, all about law and order, no more anarchy. Yeah, and then all of a sudden, someone says Sam Bullet is a crook, liar and a crook, and it's Spider-Man and Iceman. I'm not sure why it was put like this, and the Goonies put everything in place, and so did Joe Robertson, and he's like, no, he's dead. My boy never failed me. That's what you said. That, like they say, there's always a first time, and all of his supporters abandoned him, and he's arrested on the spot. Wow, that was actually a pretty good issue. Now, before I get to my final thoughts on that issue, let's turn to the other issue I'm going to cover in this one, which is The Incredible Hulk, issue 150. One of two issues of The Incredible Hulk I'm going to cover for the Spotlight era of Uncanny X-Men. Which, by the way, I'm going to cover others by the ones here too. This one is not written by Stan Lee. This one's written by Archie Goodwin. Some of you might not know him, anyways, but this is the guy who created the awesome character known as Luke Cage. Yep, the creator Luke Cage wrote this issue. Yeah, and this guy wrote a bunch of other comics. Yep. And the artwork in here is done by Herb Temple and John Severin. I mean, look at this artwork. This artwork is actually really good. The fact that it's in black and white, yeah. So you have a typical Hulk book. Though the sci-fi Hulk books don't start this way out anymore. Yeah, it's a military hounding the Hulk, and they're trying to look for him. And of course, Hulk tries to get away. He beats up some army goons for a bit, and he jumps away. And Ross, in his ranting rage, is like, he wants to go after him. And he wants to go, goes on to this someplace in the desert. I have no idea what this. I don't remember what I've seen this before in pictures, but I don't remember what this place is called. It's someplace out in like New Mexico or Arizona, someplace out in the desert. Yeah, he just sits there. And of course, the army find him, and they fire their mini copters at them. They're very small helicopters. They look like something from MASH. Yeah, they're the same size helicopters in MASH. They fire at them. They fire looks like cannons at him. Yeah. And of course, we cut away to a project and cut away to I would say DC, and of course stuck with some committee, something to capture the Hulk. But yeah, they're just debating it, and basically like money that could have gone to housing and pride programs, or to cleanse our fueled environment. Millions squandered that project that apparently can't even do its job. Yeah, and of course they're debating about cutting the funding, which is typical writing for the government. Basically, if something is not working properly, they just slash the budget, or at least cut it all together. And of course we see, I think it's General Talbot. Well, excuse me, not General Talbot, because he never got promoted in the comics. I know Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. he's a general. Here he's just a major. He actually does get high as Lieutenant Colonel before he dies. Of course, that's in the 80s, 70s. And what's the X-Men Spotlight here? Well, I think that's about to come up soon. Of course, we have this, we have Polaris, Yep, we finally have X-Men Spotlight stuff. Why this is here. Yeah, you have Polaris just driving her car and she gets harassed by bikers. And Hulk just smashes at the bikers, and of course the girl gets away. Of course Hulk scares him. And of course she gets back to her hut. I'm not sure why she's even here. Noise, no, and of course she thinks to the Hulk, nope, it's actually one of the bikers, and then the bikers is taken out by Havoc. And of course, apparently they've been hiding here for some reason. Of course, Havoc. Apparently, there's some of us in disagreement. Of course, Havoc, of course, left. Of course, they fought. Iceman and Havoc continually fought over Polaris. And they left, and of course she gets. They talk for a bit, and of course they get. Of course, she runs away because the Hulk shows up, and then Havoc and Alex switches to his Havoc costume. Here's the thing. The Hulk is protective of Polaris because she kind of looks like Jarilla. I'm not kidding about this. She's one of the Hulk's old lovers over the years, but yeah, one of his old love interests, but yeah. And of course, apparently he hears an army truck. And it's Talbot and Betty. And of course, Polaris says it's a mistake, and of course they have it where Havoc fights the Hulk, and they fight for a few pages, and of course he gets a rock dropped on him, but the rock basically just pushes off. Of course, Hulk shows off his strength, and of course sees how much of he's got wrong, and of course on the job, and of course he references his brother, and of course he takes his beam and just hits at the Hulk's head, and of course knocks him out. And of course Hulk turns back to Bruce Banner. And of course Bruce Banner talks about Jarilla. And of course Betty's like, all these years of waiting, what does it mean? It's like, I answer that. So I'm going to end it right there. The whole thing with Jarilla. So, what did I think of these two issues? The Amazing Spider-Man issue was actually really good. Really enjoyable read. At that point in time, Stan Lee was trying to end his run for Amazing Spider-Man. He did kind of end his run briefly for like one issue. He could come back for like another year before he handed out to Jerry Conway, who did awesome stories in the book. Somewhat, anyways. It's a good issue, and I give it a 9 out of 10. As for the Hulk issue, well, there's some things that, I mean, in the case of the Iceman book, this one I can kind of see why. Apparently, sometime between X-Men 66 and this book, apparently the X-Men sort of semi-disbanded a bit. I'm not really sure what happened. But yeah, I don't mind the fact that Iceman was in New York, and of course he ends up with Spider-Man. It's a nice little team-up. I do praise him for that. As for the Hulk issue, there is no explanation of exactly why Havoc and Polaris are out in New Mexico, hiding in some hut. Yeah, I have no idea why. It's never explained in the story, despite the fact, yes, it was quite common in the later issues that Havoc and Iceman were rivals for Polaris' affections, something that kind of continued today. But it's not talked about anymore. Nope. It isn't. And because the fact they never explained what was the hope. I mean, yeah, it's fine the fact they put this in this trade because Havoc Polaris guest star in the book, but otherwise though the issue itself is completely it's mostly focused on the Hulk. Unlike in the case of the Amazing Spider-Man issue, because Stan Lee created also Iceman as well, he basically gave Spider-Man and it made Spider-Man and Iceman equals, while Archie Goodwin made the Hulk and Havoc fight each other most of the issue. And it's like some things were never explained in the issue, why they were there. It just showed a sheer coincidence they were just there. And of course, Hulk mistaking Polaris as Jarilla. I'm like, how? Jarilla's an alien that's got green skin, while Polaris has got green hair. Of course, Jorla does get killed off after issue 200. I do know, but yeah. But this issue is kind of pointless in a way, but it's still a well-written issue for what it is. It's an okay issue, so I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I want to be fair to it. So, that's it for this episode. Stay tuned for the next episode, where I'm going to cover the first 3 issues of Amazing Adventures. Yeah, solo feature for the Beast. Okay, until then, see you there. Bye.